Having the discipline to stick to one trading plan through thick and thin is quite a business.
Your job, folks, is to have a plan and focus on the process of executing that plan over and over and over again. And if you focus on the process, the loot will take care of itself.
Trading can be excruciatingly exciting when done wrong and tauntingly tedious when done right. And that's the truth. When you're doing it right, it's boring and it's not all this excitement and jumping from one thing to the next. It's finding something, getting in it, and coming in here day after day and executing it.
Now, I personally build a habit very easily. And many of you will say that's great, but it also means that you can build a bad habit very easily. So, the one thing that I can say which is positive, that everybody in this room is 8 to 13 trades away from the trader you want to be. That's all. But very few people get there because they don't adhere to the one system until that neural pathway is built. So that's the process if you want to be successful, folks. Sit down, put together a fairly simple system, adhere to 1 to 2% position sizing, and then the real work starts of being able to follow that system through thick and thin. And you're only about 8 to 13 trades away from being able to do that. That's all.
Losing traders tend to focus on their account balance instead of following the system. Right? They keep looking at their balance. Oh, my money's going up, it's going down. And when that happens, you get emotional and you don't follow the system.
And I've seen this so many times over the years where people who start to trade do exceptionally well. They know absolutely nothing. They follow some fairly simple trend following rules and they do well. Then all of a sudden they become experts and now they've got something to protect. Ego comes in. For most people, they've got to lose an awful lot of money before they realize that self-awareness and what you bring to the party is important. Prior to that, people will be moving from course to course to course, book to book to book, looking for something that will be right 10 times out of 10 and make them rich. And I assure you, if you troll through the internet, there are an awful lot of people out there who will sell you such a system at many thousands of dollars.
Your failure to appreciate the cycle of doom, to appreciate where you are in that cycle of doom psychologically, will ultimately determine your successes or failures as a trader. So that's why I think this lesson is so important. So I encourage you to take notes, watch it, think about this all the time when you're trading. So what is the cycle of doom, I hear you cry? Beware the cycle of doom. It exists in many different trading aspects as well. So when you're trading the markets, clearly the first thing you need to do is to have a trading strategy. Now, a trading strategy, as you've seen, is basically a set of trading rules. When to buy, when to sell, when to take profits, when to cut losses, what trading entities you are getting involved in. So basically a strategy gives all the rules of engagement. Now, you can use one of my strategies, or you can use an external strategy. You can buy one, you can get them out of a book, you can find them in YouTube, or you can develop your own strategy. But the important thing is you need to have a strategy. So you've got your strategy, off you go, you start trading your strategy, and you start to make a profit. Whoa, this is great. I can now make money in the markets for doing very little work. This is great, better than my day job. So off you go, and the inevitable happens. You hit some losing trades. Every strategy has a losing period. Every strategy has losing trades. But it doesn't feel comfortable, does it? It doesn't feel comfortable giving money to other people. Why should I give my hard-earned money to others? It doesn't feel comfortable. I don't like these losses. So the common tendency is to tweak that strategy. Put in an extra indicator. Put in an extra MACD or Bollinger Band to avoid those losses. So you put them in, oh, that much better now, that's much better. You start to make a profit again. Now I have the best optimized strategy. It can't fail, it can't lose. You know, this has got everything a decent strategy needs. And off you go, you start making a profit, then the inevitable happens. You hit the losing streak. Remember, every strategy has a losing period, and it's how you deal with them. That's the most important part. So you hit this losing streak again, doesn't feel good. Let's put in a moving average crossover. Let's put in another oscillator. If I'd have done the oscillator theory on all these past losing trades, I wouldn't have had losing trades. Oh, that's perfect. Now I've now got the perfect strategy, and off you go. Once you've tweaked it, you start to make the profits again. Oh, now that is it. Now I'm going to tell my boss to really go and jump in the lake. I have got the perfect strategy. The losses happen. This doesn't feel good. How come? I've got everything that a perfect strategy should have. Everyone agrees this is the best strategy. Why is it losing? I've had enough of this. I'm going to ditch the strategy. Ditch it, find another one. I can't take any more losses. This strategy has cost me a lot of time and a lot of money. I am going to ditch it. I'm going to find a new strategy. There's one for sale over there. Oh, we've got a strategy over there that you might be interested in. Let's try that strategy. That looks perfect. So off you go again, and you just go round this cycle of doom yet again. The same thing will happen because you're not appreciating what trading is all about, profits and losses and so forth. This is the cycle of doom. Most traders fail in this business because they are in the perpetual cycle of doom, always looking over the fence for a different strategy, trying something new, trying a new mentor, trying a new educator, trying a new set of indicators. It doesn't work. Every strategy has its losing periods. If that theory wasn't indeed correct, then of course there would be no national debt of Venezuela. Central bankers would just be sitting there trading the profitable trading strategy and alleviating all the government debt. Every strategy has a losing period.
If you're a typical punter, and I know you've gone on some forum and you found some sort of guru saying, oh, you need to do this system or this, moving average crossover type system, and then you go along, you trade it, whether it's on a live or dummy account, and let's say it works for a bit, and you'll go, oh wow, I've found a really cool system here. So you then do this system, and then after a while you start losing, and because you don't really know much or have much trading psychology or risk management at all, you think, oh well, this was a waste of time. It must have been fluke. And so what you then do is you go back to the forums and the or books and whatnot, and you try and scour the internet for other systems, and that's an endless rat race type cycle, which I found myself in for a good number of years. And anyone that's listening to this, if you're in that sort of cycle, please be aware of it.
Switching strategies or searching for a strategy that's working right now was one of the biggest mistakes that I personally made. I believe that everything works sometimes, nothing works all the time. When your strategy is working, I've always believed, not always, but I believe that you need to keep trading and trade more aggressively. And when things aren't working, you need to just trade less or don't trade at all. Don't search for a new strategy every time your strategy is not working.
And I found, and certainly dozens of people that I know have found, that unfortunately the more you know, at times the more difficult it is to follow a simple set of rules.
But if you can come to me and say, even if you're trading for me, and you came to me and said, look, I lost $5,000 this month, but here's my log, and I see that you have essentially followed your plan for the most part, and you have very few errors, I would say, great job, keep going. Because it just means that you're executing your plan, but your plan does not have an edge for that particular period of time. And every edge disappears and reappears and disappears and reappears. There are times when the market's in balance, there are times when the market's trending, and you may be someone who has a plan that has more emphasis on balance than trend. So you will lose. It's kind of like an automated trading system. Everybody has an edge for a period, and everybody has a drawdown for a period. It's just the nature of the business.
The casino creates a statistical advantage, and then they just go about doing their business, given the power of the odds, the time it needs to work in their favor. So think about it. The secret to success is so simple that it really defies logic, how easily it's ignored, overlooked, cast aside, underutilized, or just forgotten when a few losing trades occur. It's one of the many strategies successful traders use to remind themselves how profits are made in trading.
Linda said to me, it never bothers me to lose because I know I will always make it back. Never bothers me to lose because I know I will always make it right back.
All she's saying is this: I've got a methodology. It's going to win in the long run. Along the way, there are going to be some losses. As long as I stick with the methodology and keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to come out ahead. If I lose now, I'll win subsequently, and I will come out ahead. So that's all she's saying.
What are some of the greatest misconceptions that you often see or hear about good traders?
There is a concept of what traders think of good traders, right? So what the retail thinks of what good traders are and what they aren't. But the one thing that I noticed is that successful traders have at times the same psychological issues as beginner traders, but the difference is that they stick with their method. So I think that at some point people think that successful trader has completely overcome the psychology part. And I would say that they simply learned to live with the idea that they have to listen to their method more than their own gut feelings tells them. And I'll give you a very simple example. Not long ago, I spoke to a really good friend of mine, and he's been trading for many, many years. And he told me that when he listens to his method, and what I mean by listening, when his method tells him, for example, that he has to add positions to a falling market, or he has to short, a market that is going up, many times it gives him very strong uncomfort level. But he still learned over time, because of his success, to learn to his method more than his gut feeling. So to all the people out there that are beginners, they think that, successful traders have it all in control. Many times they don't. Psychologically, they just act on it differently.
The older traders were boring. We're bored. We just execute. We come in the same day and every day, and we do the same thing over and over. That's what we look to do. We don't care about excitement. We're not chasing, I like to call it, on social media, Twitter and that stock flavor of the day. We're looking at our strategy. That's it. And we're executing it regardlessly. You just execute relentlessly. Sets up. It's never just one trade. It's the whole series of trades that's going to play out. That's it. You execute. And that's how you get good at the execution. That's how you get good with your psychology to be able to stay in the trade.
Strategy drift is deadly. Really crushes P&Ls when you get strategy drift.
Oh, I did it for 2 years at the beginning of my career. Fibs today, trend lines. Oh, they're working. Let me buy this one on a 15-minute. Now, we've been through this, Jeff. You and I have been through trying all sorts of different things. I think that the mistake that many new traders make is the same one that we made by doing that, going about and searching for something and what's working today, as opposed to just finding a strategy that they liked and sticking with it.